So hopefully now you guys can see my screen, and you'll see that I'm already logged into Therap. So welcome to the kind of the tips and tricks webinar where we're just going to cover some kind of how to enter the attendance again, a little review of that, but really some tips and tricks while you're doing it. Just from how you can enter it one day and change your services relatively easy from the attendance screen. How you can enter attendance for multiple days at one time. And we'll talk about updating attendance, how you update it, and then how you can enter all your non-billable days at one time. And then we'll look at how you guys can kind of pull your attendance detail report and some other things. Again, if you're just joining us, if you have any questions, everybody's going to be muted just because we have quite a few people on. And if you have a question, to your right on that kind of control panel or that panel there, you're going to see chat. If you hit the little plus to the left of it, it'll open up a box where you guys can type. That'll be where you guys will want to type any questions that you might have as we go along. If we don't gain too many more people in terms of attendees, I'll maybe unmute it at times just to make sure that we're not passing anybody. But if you can, don't feel free to go ahead and just type in that chat, hi, hello, just to kind of get used to it. Feel free to do that. But that is where you guys will go ahead and type any questions as you have throughout this webinar. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. And hi, Hazel, I can see your writing there. So just definitely any questions you have, type them in there. All right. So where we're going to start with today is, and again, we're kind of talking about tips and tricks when you're entering attendance. So we won't go through, every step of the way, but please ask a question about a step you want to see, or maybe that you're having an issue with, so we can definitely discuss it tonight on tonight's webinar. The first thing is so I'm logged into Therap, and when I'm entering attendance, I want to show you guys how there's a way you guys can switch services that you're entering on or documenting on from the attendance screen. All right. And so from my billing tab, here's attendance. I'm just going to hit new. Now I'm hitting new, and this is how you can enter it in a day at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and let's act like I'm entering in November 30th. So you can either click in here and type the date, or you can click on the calendar and go back to the day that you want to enter in your attendance data. You'll then choose your attendance type. Again, some of you may only provide hourly, some of you may provide hourly and daily, or vice versa. You'll just choose the service that you're documenting on. So I'm going to act like it's an hourly service and that it's my community living and day supports, and then my program. One trick that it can be very useful, if you're documenting on one individual and maybe you work with multiple clients and you only want one individual or client to show up on your attendance screen, you can just go ahead and enter their name. So I'll go ahead and type Calvin because the client that I worked with was named Calvin Coolidge. And you'll see by hitting search, I only have Calvin show up. Now, for those of you that just work with one client, you'll always just have one individual show up. So that may necessarily not be a trick that'll assist you. But if you work with multiple individuals and you're really just wanting to document on one and only want one to show up, you can utilize that name and only one individual will show up. Now we're at the point where we're going to enter attendance. So I'm going to enter attendance for November 30th for this service. So again, you always want to click the day, and I'm going to click today. All right. Or I mean November 30th, the day I'm documenting on. Attendance options, you guys have present, absent, not scheduled. And again, because I provided services, I want to make sure that I choose present. All right. So I'm present, or I provided services on the 30th. And then I want to enter in my time in and my time out. All right. Now remember, you don't have to utilize this scroll. I can scroll to the time, but you can also type in the time. So if I type in 8 a.m., okay, and one trick is you can just put 8A and it'll go ahead and fill it out as AM for you. And we'll just say I worked until 10 a.m. All right. So I've entered my time that I provided the service and for what day. All right. The next thing that I need to do is enter in my record of service. So what did we do during that time period? All right. So I'm just going to type something quick here. Went to the YMCA, worked out with, oops. All right. So I documented what we did as our record of service on the 30th. All right. And so I've documented my record of service. I was present or I provided services, and then my time period. Now, I can go down to the bottom and click Submit New. Once you do that, you've now entered in your attendance data for that day. One trick that I want to show you is because a lot of you potentially work with multiple services. So you can see that this is my community day, living and day supports. All right. I'm going to remove this here. And then, oh, good question. Hazel asked, do you have to choose a service provider? You do not have to, because they know that you're entering this and that you are the service provider, or you're the one providing these services. You definitely can still choose your name. It doesn't hurt anything, but it's not something that you are required to do. Because again, the way this information is going over, they know that it's your account and it's special just to you as that provider. Great question. Any questions before I show you how to switch services about what I just showed you there, maybe in terms of just entering attendance? All right. Don't see too many questions coming in. But we've now entered, again, we've entered that, we worked 8 to 10 on this day. Now, I often get asked, how do I enter multiple times for a day? Okay. So you've entered in that you worked 8 to 10 a.m. on this day. But let's say I also worked 1 p.m. to 3. Well, how you can enter it in the second time, so I've entered the first, is you'll click on the P. Okay. So P for present, that's the attendance option. You'll click here, and what it will do is it will bring you to an attendance data update screen. All right. Right here is what you have entered for what you've worked. All right. So 8 to 10. So to add a second time or multiple time periods, you just click Add Time In, Time Out. Okay. Once I click that, you'll now notice that it gives me a place to enter in a second time. So I'll go ahead and I'll just put 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Okay. Now you could enter in as many time in and time outs as you had during that day. One thing you don't want to forget is now I need to document what I did from 1 to 3, because again, we documented what we did from 8 to 10. And how they would like you to designate it is you can put asterisks, you can put, dashes, just something to signify that this is a separation from, this is what we did from the first time slot, and then this is what we did for the second time slot. And maybe we went to the laundromat and finished laundry. All right. And that's what we did from 1 to 3. All right. So I've updated that. Once we've done that, I'm then going to click update. Does anybody have any questions about that? And again, you'll see once I hit update that it's going to then take me back to this screen. But now when I highlight it, it has my 2 times. So when you're entering in your time in, time out, you can immediately, once you submit it, click the attendance option and add additional time in and time outs. All right. Okay. So now that we've entered our attendance data and we've entered, all the data for the community living support, CLDS, right? That's my service. And you can always look up here for the code. All right. And let's say I provided an additional service for that same day. You don't have to go back to the dashboard and go through, choosing the date and then your types, your service code and your program. You can just go here to change service, click the drop down. It will show you all of your hourly services. So then I can go ahead and switch to this service, which is respite in this case. It's going to give you a confirm, just letting you know that you're changing your service. So when I hit yes here, what you will notice is I am now at an attendance screen, but I am now documenting on a different service. So then for this service, again, I could just then document what we did for respite. And maybe I, did that later in the afternoon. Okay. So again, I was able to switch services, but you'll see I can go right into documenting then my record of service that I provided the service for that day, my time in, time out, and I can hit submit new. So you can see how to enter that attendance data, but you guys can change services relatively quickly without having to go to the dashboard and going through that process again. All right, so that's a quick little tidbit on how you can change the services relatively quick. All right, I'm going to go ahead and head back to the dashboard. And does anybody have questions about changing the services? The next thing we're going to look at is, well, you can enter attendance day by day, okay? Or you can enter attendance for multiple days at one screen. And I just want to go ahead and show you guys how you can enter attendance on multiple days. I see we have some folks that are just joining us. If you have any questions, you're going to see a chat box to your right on that kind of toolbar. It says chat, to the left is a plus. Just hit that plus. It'll give you an option to type there. You can definitely type any questions that you have as we go through this webinar. This will be recorded, and we will post the recording once it is completed. All right, so now we're going to look at how do I enter attendance for multiple days. So from your billing tab, attendance, you know that if you hit new, you're entering it in for one day. All right. You have the ability to enter attendance for more than one day. You could do it for the entire month, as I will show that example here. So here's attendance. I'm going to click search instead. All right. And you're going to put the date range for that you want to enter it for. So if I wanted to enter it in for the month of, let's say I want to enter in the data for the first 2 weeks of November. Okay. So I can enter my start date as November 1st and my end date as November 15th. All right, so just the first 2 weeks of November. All right, I'm going to choose my hourly, my service, and then my program. Again, remember, you're going to be able to change these services from the attendance screen. All right, the important thing is you put in the date range that you want to enter in your attendance data. Go ahead and hit search. Now what you'll see is the same attendance data screen. However, instead of one day, you're going to see multiple. All right? So you're going to see multiple days. So since I put 1 through the 15th, you'll see 1st through the 15th. Okay? And it shows me any data that I've entered. Now, remember, when you utilize the search, it's going to take you to this update tab. Okay? To enter data for multiple days, you'll want to make sure to switch on over to the input. So I'll just take my mouse, click on input, and what you'll notice is now all the days open up with boxes. Okay? So one trick, instead of just entering one day at a time and going back and forth, is you can search for your date range, come in, and now I can enter in all the attendance days or the days that I worked for the community living and day support service. All right? So I'm going to enter 2 days just to kind of show you how that would work. So let's say I worked Wednesday. You want to make sure to click on that day, okay? By clicking on that day, what you're really saying is everything I'm doing or going to submit applies to these days, okay? So then I'm going to click my attendance option is present, all right? And then my time in, time out. And we'll say it was 8 a.m. You know what? We'll say we worked 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., all right? Okay, so on Wednesday, I worked 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. I put present, and then I can click in here, and again, you're going to document what you did or your record of service. Okay? So I'm going to document that there. Now, you'll see that this is present. This time is for Wednesday. Once I've completed that, I can just go down to submit new, okay? And once I click submit new, it'll tell you it successfully saved it. The nice thing is you're right on the screen to enter in multiple days. So I've documented what we did on Wednesday. But let's say I also worked on the 8th. You're going to use this toggle bar here, scroll bar. And I'm just going to go right over to the 8th, and then I'm going to document for that day. So again, I'm going to click on the 8th. I'm going to say that I was present or that I provided services, and then I'm going to enter in my time in and time out. So maybe I worked this day, maybe I worked 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Okay. And then I would again document my record of service, or what do we do? All right. So you can see I've now entered the 8th, my time in, time out, and then I was present, and I'll just go down and hit submit new. So what you'll see now is that I've entered in multiple days. So I did the 2nd, the 8th, and I can then keep going on and entering in all the days that I worked that month. Does that make sense to everybody on the call? Any questions? I'm going to kind of pause here and give you a moment to kind of type in maybe any questions that you guys have about entering in multiple days at one time. And while you're typing that question, potentially, just remember you could still change the services, and that works the same here. So I can enter multiple days this whole 2-week period, and then I can change my service and enter it in for that. Any questions up to this point? And again, if you have any questions, you got that chat on the right of your screen with all those toolbars. You got that chat to the left of it is the plus. Just click that plus. You'll have an opportunity to type in any question that you may have. Romana, a great question. That's an awesome question. So the question was, do we have to enter the days that you didn't work? And the answer is yes. And I'm going to show you guys today a way that you can do that, but I'm going to show you that in just a moment. So I'm going to show you how you can enter all the days that you didn't work in just one entry. So you don't have to go and enter all the days separately. And I'll show you guys that in just a moment. But very, very good question. And I'll definitely be showing you that in just 1 second. Great, great question. All right. But to answer that question, you do have to enter in every day that you didn't work. All right. Doesn't look like we have any more questions coming in. And if you're typing one, finish it. We'll come back and we'll definitely look at anything that you need to look at. Great question, Shelly. What if respite is a day rate and CELDS is an hourly? So this will only change between hourly types because we chose hourly. So if you are documenting a daily and I'm done entering in my hourly, one quick way you can do is you can just click this back button and just change this to daily. And then you could document on your daily respite. Okay. So again, just to kind of show you from here, your entry screen, you can always just go back, and that'll be the quickest way to change in between hourly or daily. Great question. All right, so I can just change, and then you'll be able to document. So you'll still be able to document those. Not a problem. Very welcome. Thanks for asking the question. Very good question. So you guys can see how you can change between hourly services. And if you chose daily, you would be able to change through your daily here as well. It goes off of that attendance type. Okay. So that's how you can enter multiple days of attendance at a time. And I could enter more. But the next thing I want to talk about is, well, how do you update attendance? So we've entered some attendance, and let's say we realized, oh, you know what? I actually worked a little bit more that day. And you haven't generated your billing yet. And maybe I need to document or I need to add more time or take it away or document something. I need to update something in my attendance. All right. Again, from your billing tab, you're going to utilize search. So this should look familiar. So you just do search. and you look for the dates or the date range that you're looking to edit. And again, let's just use the same one. So we'll do November 1st to November 15th. All right. I'll choose my hourly, a community program, and then I'll hit search. Okay. So again, that should all look familiar. But now once you're at the attendance screen, you're already at the update. So any data that you have entered, all right, it will allow you to update. Okay. So if I need to update, maybe let's say right now we currently say that we work 6 to 8 a.m. Maybe I actually work 6 to 9. And I realized that I didn't document that. You just come in, you can click on that option. Here's your attendance data update. You can type any more that you need to add about what you did. But you can also come in here and then just update the time. So I'm going to change this from 8 to 9. All right. Then I'll click update. And you'll notice again, once I click update, it takes me back here and that my time has been updated. So you'll just do a search just like you did to enter multiple days, but from the update screen, you'll go ahead and choose the day that you need to edit. So if I needed to edit any other day, just come down here to the scroll bar, scroll over, and I can click on the P, and I can then update any of the information that I need to. Does anybody have any questions about updating any of that attendance data? Does anybody want to see that again? Okay. I'll give you just another minute just in case somebody may be typing a question. Don't want to move too far ahead here. The next thing we are going to take a look at, and again, just giving some folks just another minute just in case they're typing. The next thing we're going to look at is to answer that question earlier. How would I enter in, do I have to enter in all the days I didn't work? Well, I'm going to show you how you can do it all at the end of the month or the end of the 2-week period, depending on if you guys, if you bill biweekly or monthly. So I'm going to show you that next. And it doesn't look like we have any questions coming in. And again, if you are typing a question, just definitely finish it. We'll come back and revisit anything that you type. All right, so I'm going to go ahead back to the dashboard just because I like to start from the beginning to just show you guys how to get there if you just logged in. So let's say we've entered in all the days that we worked and we're ready to move forward with, approving our attendance data and then generating our payment or our billing for payment. Okay. Again, from my attendance, I'm going to click search. All right, it's common theme. You'll get used to it. The nice thing is it doesn't change. And I'm going to go ahead and do November 1st to November 15th. Okay. Hourly, a 9539, and then my program. Okay. So I'm going to just go down to the bottom here and click search. All right. Now we're at the update. Well, we've already entered in all the days that we worked, and you can see, the 2nd, the 8th, the 14th. Okay, so maybe those are the days that I worked. So now we're ready to approve it. So you click on over to the approve. All right. One way to verify, that everything is right is pulling the attendance detail report. All right. And here's the attendance detail report. So if you're looking at this screen, it's to the left of the name of the individual, that little X. Okay. By clicking on that, it's going to open up the attendance detail report. What this will show you is all of your entries, okay? So shows every day that I worked, the times that I entered that I worked, how many hours that is total, okay, and what we did, all right? So this really is almost identical to what you guys used to know as your record of service, all right? So those were the 3 days I worked, and I'm okay with that, and that looks good. I can approve them, all right? So I'm just going to hit minimize here. I'm right back on my Therap, okay? So again, this is your attendance detail report. It will show you all of your entries within that time period. Okay. So what I can do is I can click this checkbox to the left And what that will do is that will mark all of the boxes that have data. All right. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go down to the bottom and click approve. Again, I looked at that attendance detail report. I know those are the days that I worked for that time period. I'm going to click approve. What you will see is it will turn them green. So one little key is to pay attention to this color code. Anything that's blue is in prep. Anything that's green is approved. And then anything that is this tan or pink has been generated for billing. So we've approved our data. We're now ready to generate our billing. All right. So to generate your billing, you click on the generate billing. Now I purposely left this so you guys would see this in case some of you are maybe running into this error. All right. So when I click on generating billing data, you're going to see that I received this little yellow triangle. Okay. And some of you may be receiving this. And this is why I purposely did this so everybody could see why it's happening. All right. When you click on it, it'll tell you. It says unapproved blank or billed attendance data found between start date and end date of attendance grid. What that means is for the time period that you're billing, so whether it's 2 weeks or monthly, you have to have attendance data entered in every single box. All right. Now remember, I've already entered in the days that I worked. Okay. So now I need to document that I didn't work any of those other days. Okay. And I'm just kind of scrolling here. So these are the month I worked, and I know I worked the 14th, 8th, and the 2nd. And I know that, again, because we pulled that attendance detail report. So now I need to document those days I didn't work. So at the end of the month, or the end of the 2 weeks in our example here, let's say now I'm ready to document those days I didn't work. Well, you can do it in one entry, all right? You're going to click on your Input tab, okay? And now you'll see all the days that don't have data don't show up. Now, the 2nd doesn't show up because it's been approved. Now, if you want to see all of that data, you can click approved, okay, and submit it for billing, and it will show all statuses. So you can kind of get a glimpse, all right? Again, we've documented the 2nd, the 8th, and the 14th as days that we worked. So in that 2-week period, I worked those 3 days. Now, I didn't work any other day. So we've entered those days. You can do this in one entry. You'll click this box to the left of the individual's name. And this is a big trick that I would definitely recommend using. You click, and you'll notice it puts a check marks next to every day that doesn't have any attendance data. Because I've entered all the days I work, I know that these days are all the days that I didn't work. All right? So we've checked all those days. So all the days that I didn't work are checked. You're going to want to click on the attendance option, not scheduled, right? We didn't provide services. All right? You don't have to put a time in, time out because there wasn't any. And you don't have to document your record of service or what you did because you didn't provide any. So you just select this box, not scheduled. And I'm going to go down to the bottom and click submit new. All right? So just to review, I'm doing 2 things. I'm clicking that box here to highlight them all, and then I'm just saying not scheduled. Okay? I come down, and I'm going to click submit new. You're going to receive this message. It's going to tell you, if you do not provide a time in, time out, no billable unit will be calculated for the selected attendance data. Are you sure you want to continue? What that means is, for these days that we selected, which we now know are the days we didn't work, there's no time in, time out, so it won't create anything billable for you, which is okay. We didn't provide any services. So I click yes. You'll now notice, and again, I'm going to click this approve so you can see it, that all the days are filled out in just one entry that I didn't work. So everything besides those days that I worked. Does anybody have any questions about that? It's a big trick I'd really recommend, and then we're gonna talk about the rest of it here today. All right. So now I need to approve the rest of the data. So I'm going to go ahead and click on approve. But before I approve it, I'm going to make sure that all my data is correct, and it's something that I just want to make sure, that all the days were entered. Again, you can just click this Excel file here, or the attendance detail report. I'm just going to click open. Sorry, guys. I had two named the same. 1 second. All right. So I'm going to click this attendance detail report. And here it is. So what you'll see is a couple important things. These are all the days within that time period. That's a good thing because we know we want to generate our billing. We have to have every day within that time period. In this case, it's 2 weeks. I see that I worked the 2nd, that time. I see I worked the 8th and the 14th, and those were the days I worked. There's my total hours, okay? But then status is important. We know that everything needs to be approved, but what we're doing is we're just verifying all the information is right, okay? So I know I need to approve the rest of the information, but we look at it and we verify this is the total hours, the days that I work, and what we did. I'm going to go ahead and just hit this minus again, and we're here. So now we've checked our attendance detail report. We know this information is correct. I'm going to click on left of their name. It will highlight all of the days, okay? And now that I know that that information is all accurate, I'm going to go down to the bottom and approve. So again, I'm just clicking to the left of the name. I click approve, and now everything has turned green. All right, so now we have one more step to generate our billing. I'm going to click on generate billing data. And now what you'll notice, because we have data in all days and they're all approved, it will allow you to select here. That little yellow triangle is gone. You simply select here, go to the bottom, and generate billing data. Once I click generate billing data, and you'll get a message that's letting you know that you know what you're submitting. It's the best of your ability. You'll agree to that, and then you'll get a successfully submitted for billing screen, and you have now entered in your billing and have sent that off for payment. Any questions on that process? I'm still going to show you again how to pull an explanation of benefits is what we call it, but it's kind of your pay stub on Therap. So I'll show you that in just a moment. But any questions about what you saw here? All right. And also for those of you that are wondering, we're definitely going to talk about, rejected claims and replacement claims as well. But you know how to update your information. You know how to enter in multiple days at a time, and you guys now know how to enter in, multiple non-billable days in one entry. All right, so that's the part of how you update your attendance, you enter your attendance, you send it on, and now it's on for billing, and you're going to be paid. But some things may potentially happen. Excuse me. You may receive a rejected claim, okay? And when you do, I'm going to go to my to-do tab. A rejected claim is going to show up here. So I have professional claim, and it says service coordinator rejected work list. All right. What that means is it was rejected for, it could be for a couple different reasons. So to deal with the rejected claim, it might potentially be that maybe you billed more than the amount that you were authorized. Okay. It may be the case of where you didn't bill enough, or there could be a couple different reasons why it was rejected. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and click Service Coordinator Rejected. Here's the claim. I just click on it. Now you're looking at the claim. All right. Now let's say that your claim was that maybe you billed too much, a little over than what you were authorized. To update that claim, you'd be able to come in. Here's your billing data ID. Okay, so again, here's the top of the professional claim. And I'm going to review one more time how we got here. So here's your professional claim. Just clicking here. I'm going to open it up. And we're now at the professional claim. All right. Important things is the individual that this is for, this is your client, so you know it's for Calvin Coolidge there. This is the date period, so I know this is the date period that I billed, okay? And then this is the service. So if I need to make an update to this claim, You go to the service line, click on the billing data ID, and now you're at the billing data screen. You simply will just go down to the billing data input, and then you will update your total billable units. So maybe I overbilled by a unit. I can then enter in that total billable unit. Okay. I took it from 15 to 14. And then you need to make sure to put a comment on why. All right. So document why, and like maybe build an extra hour accidentally on a certain date. Okay. So I took that from 15 to 14. You can add more as well. So maybe you didn't bill enough and it got rejected. You could update that. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a replacement claim. But a rejected claim is one that was stopped before payment, so it wasn't processed. So it gives you the ability to edit it here. So again, we're going to take it from 15 to 14 because I billed maybe one more than I was authorized. You put a comment. You're going to click Update. It's going to tell you here that this billing data has been generated from attendance. Any change made to the billing data will not be reflected back to the attendance. What that means is it's going to update the claim so it gets processed and your payment is correct, but you're going to want to make sure to go back to your attendance and update that information. So go back, do the update as we showed earlier, update that information so it's accurate. So add the hour or take away the hour that you didn't work. I click yes. It's going to tell you you've done it successfully. Now there's one more step. So once you've updated it successfully, click back, and that's right here. And what you'll do is you'll scroll down, and I always recommend just check your billable units right here. That's a good trick, right? We changed it from 15 to 14, so I know that's accurate. You just simply go down to the bottom because your billable units is right for that time period. Go down to the bottom, click Submit for approval. And you have now taken care of that rejected claim. So you just go into the claim, click on the service line, the billing data ID, and then update that billing data input. Any questions there before we're going to go ahead and look at a replacement claim? And then we'll show you the 835, and that'll wrap up our call tonight. All right, so again, a rejected claim is usually you went over probably the authorized amount for your monthly service auth or allocation. All right, we're going to now show a replacement claim. What a replacement claim is, you've billed, you've sent it off, it's been processed, and most likely payment has been made, but regardless, it's been processed. Okay, so you need to update or replace that claim. So this could be the circumstance where you didn't bill for enough, all right, or again, maybe you overbilled. You realize that you didn't provide that service and you want to go back and fix it. So again, maybe you did, but in most circumstances, I see it's we didn't bill enough. All right. But either way is how you go about it. So what you'll do is you'll go to professional claim. Okay. And again, I'm at my billing tab. All right. Here's professional claim. I'm going to go ahead and click search. Okay. Now you have a lot of information that you can enter. What I recommend is entering the individual that you're looking for. So I know that for Calvin Coolidge in August, I need to update some information. Okay. So Calvin Coolidge, you can put the service code if you'd like. All right. So 9539 for me. And then your service date. So I know it was in August. I'm just going to go back to August 1st. And again, you can type as well. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and oops. Sorry. So August 31st. All right. One important thing is I would recommend deleting the claim create date. This is the date that the claim was created on. You may not know that. You're going to know what days you worked. And that's the difference between service date and claim create date. So just go ahead and feel free to delete that as long as you have the service date. So again, I'm looking at fixing something I billed in a prior month. All right, so in August. I'm going to go ahead and click send here. All right. That status is what the status it would be in. I would also recommend clicking on paid. So you can click on sent and paid. And by doing that, you just hold control and click. All right. So I've selected both those. All right. So the client I'm looking for, the service code, the month, or 2 weeks, what date range, those 2 claim statuses. Then I hit search, all right? So it pulls up my claim. So here's my claim, and I can see some of the information about it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click. And we're now looking at the professional claim. Now the key is to pay attention to statuses, okay? So it's in sent, and we'll take it to paid, and we'll talk about what you do from there. But what that means is, again, that this claim has been processed. So, payment maybe has been made, or something the claim has been processed. It's gone through the system. So I need to update it. So this claim will look just like the rejected one. So here's the services. So this is the last 2 weeks of August, so the 16th to the 31st. I provided 18 hours of service, and that's what I billed originally. Now let's say I actually really I should have been paid for 20, okay? So I need to update that billable unit. You're going to have to do a couple things first. So first thing you're going to have to do with a replacement claim is go down to the bottom and click Update Status, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Update Status. And I'm going to update it to paid. You don't have to change anything. It will automatically have paid, and you don't have to enter anything in the paid amount. Focus keeps a ledger of what's been paid. All right, so I'm going to click Update, okay? What you're going to notice now is my status went from sent to paid. So if you have a claim that's in paid status, you're just one step ahead. Okay, so anything that's in sent, you're going to take to paid. All right? And what we're doing is we're just updating in the system saying that this claim has been paid. It's been processed. All right? So your next step then is, this is paid. We're going to want to update what we call the frequency type code from being an original claim to a replacement. And all you'll have to do is go to the bottom, and it'll give you one option, update for replacement, okay? So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and click update for replacement. It's going to give you a message saying you're updating a paid or paid adjusted claim. Do you want to continue? Yes, we know this has been processed, but we need to update it, all right? So I'm going to click OK. You'll notice the status is still in paid, but what we did right there with those clicks is we changed it from original to replacement, and that's just a replacement of prior claim. The one thing you'll need to then do is you'll need to choose your reason for replacement, all right? And here's different reasons. The most important ones that I usually see are billing for additional units not billed an original claim. Maybe that means you didn't bill for enough, but you could then choose, maybe the attendance records weren't correct. Any reason for what it was. But again, and the reason we're showing today is we didn't bill for enough units originally. So I'm going to choose that very bottom one. So again, it's a replacement claim. The reason why we're doing the replacement is because we're billing for additional units not billed originally. All right? And then you're going to go down to the bottom. All right? And you're going to click Update. This is a very important step. Once you click Update, you're going to be told that the form's been successfully updated. All right? What you're going to then want to do is just click Back to Claim Form. And again, these replacement claims are only if you billed and you needed to go back and fix something for something that's been processed. So I'm going to click Back to Claim Form after we've updated it. And you'll notice we took it from sent to paid to now it's updating. All right? Once you see updating, you now can update the claim. You'll go down to the service lines, the billing data ID, and this should look just now identical to a rejection. So that same rejection process we showed you earlier, it's identical at this point. You click on the billing data ID, all right? I'm going to go down to the bottom. Here's our billing data input. Now remember, we billed 18 originally, but we forgot to bill for 2 more hours. So I'm going to make it 20. You make it the total amount that you should have been paid for that time period. So for these 2 weeks, August 16th to the 31st, I should have been paid for 20 hours. I only billed for 18. So I'm adjusting it by the difference, all right? So I added 2 more. And then you can then document your comment. Did not bill for 2 hours of service originally on the date of, and I would document, why. Again, what you're doing in this comments is why are you making the adjustments? And I'm just saying, we didn't originally bill for 2 hours on a certain date and what service we did. So I'm going to go ahead then and just click update. It's going to give you that same message letting you know that this billing data was generated from attendance. So this does not automatically update your attendance. You're still going to need to go back to that search and update that information as we talked about earlier. But you're going to want to say yes because this is going to update the billing data on this claim and get you paid correctly. So I'm going to hit yes. One last step. It's been updated successfully. I'm going to click back. Still in updating status. I'm going to scroll down. Units are from 18 to 20. That's what I want to see for that time period for that service. Okay. Then I just go down to the bottom and click submit for approval. Once I do this, we have now updated the replacement claim. All right. So there are a couple steps to it. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you, we have step-by-step guides on our website. I'm going to show you how to get there in just a moment that I would recommend having handy. And again, this video is being recorded so you can utilize it as many times as you need. But I'm going to go ahead and hit back to the dashboard. And just to reiterate, those rejections that show up on your to-do tab, those are things that have been processed. So you can go in and update that billing data. The difference between the rejection and replacement is that replacement claim has been processed and generated. And so you have to go in and update information on a claim that's been processed. Okay. Any questions there before I kind of show you how you can access what we call explanation of payment or benefits? Really is kind of your pay step that you can access on Therap. And again, any questions at all at this point about anything in that process that maybe you want to talk about or discuss before we kind of show you that? All right, I don't see any questions. So I do just want to show you, I'm going to show you how you can search and find it. I'll show you guys screenshots, a screenshot of what you'll see. Again, I'm going to show you guides on how to do everything that we did today. But we just don't have a real remittance 835 on our account because it's a demo and it's something that really has to process. And we obviously, of course, wouldn't want to use anybody's real information. All right. But to get your, what some have referred to as their pay stub, but we kind of refer to it as explanation of benefits. It's known as an 835, a remittance 835 in your Therap account. So you go to billing, remittance 835, you're going to click search, okay? And you don't have to enter much here. Upload date is the date it was uploaded. It will automatically go back 6 months. That's as long as it'll go. So, if you just leave this date, it will show you the last 6 months records that have been entered. Once you click search, it will then take you to a screen where you can choose your time period. And once you click, this is what you will see. All right, so this is what a remittance report will look like. All right, so it just kind of has the top, and this would be you as a provider. All right, this is just made up information. It'll have the check number, how much the check was for, and the date it was issued. Now you can click on buttons down here. You can get the same report in a PDF. All right. You can click a CSV report, which will then show up like this. All right. And again, you see like a pay ID, a pay name. And again, this is all fake. You can see the check number, the date it was issued, the check amount, who it was for, the status, and then the service. So you would see exactly what you were paid and for what service and the date that the check was issued. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? All right. And again, if you're typing the question, please definitely do finish. We'll definitely review it as soon as it comes in. But now I just want to kind of show you guys where you can go to find step-by-step guides in case, you have any questions about what we went through tonight at any point in time. Okay. So from the Therap website, and if you don't know how to get here, It's just www.therapservices.net. All right? And it will take you here. Once you're at our website, you're going to see Nebraska non-specialized providers. There's a page just for you. Click there, and you're now on the Nebraska non-specialized page, or here in a moment. All right. Okay. What you'll want to then do is, if you scroll down, you'll see any more events. As you can see, we're going to have the exact same webinar tomorrow, so feel free to register and attend. It's not required, but definitely feel free to come. But down here are our user guides, okay? And then down here is our recorded webinar. So once this has been recorded and we got to kind of get it converted and ready to be uploaded, it will be located down here, okay? So if you ever want to review it, it'll be located here. But any user guide you need is going to be listed here, whether it's acknowledging service loss, entering your attendance, dealing with those claims, okay? So let's say I need assistance dealing with a rejected or a rejected claim. You just simply click here, and you'll see that you'll have a step-by-step guide with pictures. So it'll walk you through the exact same steps that we went through today. If you have a question about replacement claims, you click on replacement claims. It'll be the same thing, but it will show you how to search and locate that replacement claim. All right? Again, entering attendance, acknowledging service loss, but maybe you need, again, you're trying to say, hey, I had some questions about looking up my explanation of benefits, or again, some are referring to it as a pay stub. I just click download EOB report. And as you see, it'll give you guys the exact same steps with pictures on what you need to enter and how to access that information. All right. So again, you have guides that'll walk you through step by step right here. And your recorded webinars will be listed here. And we're going to get these ones added very shortly. With that being said, I have one more thing to remind anybody about. If you cannot remember your password, or you're having login issues, how you get that password reset, again, come to our website, go to the Nebraska non-specialized providers, because Therap staff, we can't reset your passwords. We're not the ones that do that. We don't actually have access to that information. So you'll want to click on the Nebraska non-specialized page, and to the right, you'll see Forgot Password. Simply click on that. And then what you're going to get is what we call a JOT form, but you're going to fill out your name, your provider number, your phone and email, and send it. And there's somebody at the state that receives these and will reset your password and contact you as soon as that has been reset. So again, it's not something that Therap staff can assist with, is logging in and passwords. Definitely, if you forgot it, don't have access to it, come on here, fill this out. It'll get reset for you by somebody at the state. You'll be in contact, and you'll be able to get back into your account. With that being said, is there any questions at all? If not, that's really what I have for you guys tonight. Again, we have another one tomorrow morning at 9 if you want to review it. But any questions that anybody has at this moment? I do want to say that we appreciate all your guys' time tonight and all your guys' questions and input. Very, very good. And hopefully you're enjoying the process. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the webinar open for another 5 minutes just in case somebody is typing a question. If not, again, appreciate your guys' attendance tonight, and I hope you guys all have a good rest of your night.